brings us close to our families. Allow us this Ramadan to take you through a special journey that will bring you as close as ever to your reality. Join Hatim Al Abdissaalam with engineer Muhammad Farooq in Come Close, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. We repeat at 9 to 10 p.m. here on the Nation Station.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, all praise be to Allah, the Master of the Day of Judgment, and peace and blessings be upon our beloved Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Dear brothers and sisters, I salute you all with the salutation of the people of paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Nation Station 90.4 FM. In your program Come Close with me, Hatim Al Abdissaalam, and joining me is engineer Muhammad Farooq. Assalamu alaikum, Muhammad.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. What about you?
Good, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. So how was the rain?
Oh,
Did you have any rain last night?
Yeah, we did.
Alhamdulillah. I think in the regions they are still enjoying the generosity of the skies. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.
Alhamdulillah, wonderful.
So Muhammad, today we are talking about a very diverse topic, which is customer service.
Yeah.
And most of the people, when you say customer service, somehow they would say, it's not really Islamic, or it has nothing to do with the month of Ramadan. But actually it is Islamic, and it has everything to do with the month of Ramadan.
Right.
Especially that the number of customers increase in the month of Ramadan.
Yeah.
Especially in
special offers on the vehicles.
Special offers on the weekends, and Eid is coming on the way, so customers will be booming the market. Anyways, we would like to remind our listeners that this is a live show, and the lines are open. You can call us on our numbers 2460 2058, 2460 2058, and the program is going to be repeated in the evening from 9 till 10, and repeated tomorrow as well from 5 till 6 at Fajr time. For those who have missed the previous episodes, they can watch our episode on our YouTube channel, which is called Guidance.
Yep.
So we would start the program now, Muhammad, and start with the topic.
Exactly. So first of all, we'll look at what customer service is.
Yes.
And as with other topics, there are different definitions available out there. The one I like, which was quite concise, and very focused, is the assistance and advice provided efficiently in a friendly manner by a company to those people who buy or use its products or services, or they are potential customers.
Yes.
Okay.
I think, Muhammad, when it comes to human interaction, nobody doesn't love to be pampered. Everybody loves to be pampered,
exactly,
and treated in the best kindest way. And this is, you could see it's present in every single transaction that we do, whether it is the banking transaction, or the shops, or the hotel services, or tourism, anything. You would like to be treated the best. And today you would find a lot of websites putting the rating and the comments of the customers, because it makes a big difference. It's so valuable that people tend to read these comments and read the ratings before they try the experience. Most of the time, people go and travel abroad, they see beautiful pictures on the website, but on ground it's a total different story.
And they write about it.
But we find that, Muhammad, in the Middle East, we are still far behind when it comes to customer service. Although it is part of our culture and religion to be very generous, very hospitable. It is in our DNA, but we fail to have it in a structured way in industries, in shops, in coffee shops, in hospitals, and hotels, and so on. And this is something which is very pity, but there's always room for improvement.
Exactly.
And I wish to in the near future to see special institutions for teaching these etiquettes of selling and buying, and customer service, customer presentation, and how to retrieve customers and make them loyal customers. I don't think we have such a thing as loyal customers in the Middle East, where you are being rewarded for being a continuous long-term customer who is always coming in, buying from the same product. Although you might think that they don't add value, but only these loyal customers are the ones who are generating that extra profit that you're enjoying.
Exactly. They say that 20% of your customers bring in 80% of your revenue or profit, depending on what matrices that you're measuring.
Yes.
And unfortunately, a lot of people, including companies, don't realize that it's very expensive to go out there and find a new customer than it is to retain the one that you already have.
Yes.
Okay, because you have developed a rapport with him or her. You already have a wallet share of that person. They trust you, and it's relatively easy to cross-sell and upsell to them each time you have something new as a product and a service which you feel adds value to them. Not just something is new and you feel it's an obligation to push it to them and make them buy it, but put yourself in their shoes and do an honest audit that if I get this, will I really benefit or not? So coming back to the customer service, it can be pre-sales or post-sale, and pre-sale might be there, post-sale is another story.
Yes.
And that's what I mean. If people realize how important it is to keep a customer, okay, for lifetime, now what they call the lifetime wallet share of a customer,
yes,
then they would never let him go to the competitor. Okay. And
the way we see it, but Muhammad, it's just like, what if you go to the competitor? I don't really mind, because there's no real effort put in ground to retain you.
Yeah.
So many times, and I have given you some examples, and maybe I'll share the examples during the show.
Exactly.
Of how it's easy to lose a customer.
Hatim, here's the thing. Our corporations, wherever we are employed, they need to view us as their customers. Why? Because when they're not there, we're taking care of their customers.
Yes.
Okay, so like you said, if there is no motivation or effort to give you that extra incentive, okay, to really go out and please another customer, then what are the chances that you are so pious and religious and so conscious that even if you're abused, you'll still keep on going and dishing out the best efforts, and you will be the best to the customers, especially when there are almost no mechanisms to monitor you.
Yes,
okay.
Definitely.
So the other thing is, like I said, the customer service, it can be with the existing customers to improve and enhance the loyalty, and it can also be used to get new customers, what we call acquisition. So you have retention at one end, and then you have acquisition at the other end. And companies, they spend big bucks to get new customers. However, very few companies actually pay attention to please the customers which they already have. Like you mentioned a while ago, okay, you want to go to my competitor, fine. What they don't understand is that all that years that he was with you, okay, he might not have spoken good things about you to his friends and family and neighbors and people at the local masjid, but the minute you brush him off or you give him this cold shoulder, trust me, he's gonna tell everybody and his uncle. And if he has little bit skills, he'll go on the internet and write a review against you.
Yes.
And by the way, people, they tend to read negative reviews more than the positive ones.
No one wants to read a positive review. They always look for negative.
Exactly.
If it's there, then they don't continue.
It's in our nature, like for example, they give examples that hundreds and thousands or millions of years ago, if a lion came and you heard the lion, you just wanted to run and save your life. So our first instincts are towards negativity.
Yes.
It's very rare that we'll say, oh, okay, let me go and read all the positive comments and see how wonderful the hotel was. I want to see what was rotten with it. How bad was the Wi-Fi? How dirty were the bathrooms? Okay, how smelly was the room? And this is how we operate. And the next thing about customer service is that it can be for products, which can be physical products or digital products. Okay, like apps or software programs or training courses that you buy online. And it can be for services like telecommunication, transportation, healthcare, tourism, like you mentioned a while ago. So these are some of the things. So keeping this information that we've got so far in mind, let's revisit the definition of customer service.
Okay.
It would be a combination of people, processes, technology used to go beyond the expectations of the customer in terms of serving him or her.
Yes.
This would be a more comprehensive definition.
I look at it in a different angle, Muhammad, that customer service has to do with whether it's a profit-making organization or non-profit
yeah.
organization. Even the household, you have customers. And it all has to do with services for humans. So if you're providing a service for humans, then you're in the customer service business. It doesn't matter what you're selling.
Yeah.
Even if you're selling nuclear bombs, then when you're serving and you have people buying them, then you are in the customer service business. And now the thing about customer service is most of the time these industries, they forget that the word of mouth is the most powerful tool today.
Especially with the social media around.
Yes, social media has come to complement this aspect of word of mouth, to magnitude it to more mass crowds.
Yeah.
But previously it used to be like you go and dine in one of the restaurants, Muhammad, with your family, and you have a wonderful experience. And I come to visit your house the second day. The first thing that you will tell me that, you know what, I went to this restaurant and the experience was amazing. The food was nice and the people serving us were nice. It is like almost 60% that I would take my family there.
Exactly.
Because I heard it from you.
Exactly. You know, they say that people don't buy things. People buy things from people they like.
Yes.
So if I trust you and you recommend something,
I will definitely never doubt your recommendation.
My resistance will immediately go down, and I'll be willing to go out there and have that experience or buy that product for myself or my family.
And that's why today on social media you find a lot of these influencers going to certain restaurant. They are being invited, they are being paid to go there and taste the food, and they review that they give about the food, you know, almost the same day you find the place is packed with people.
Exactly.
Because they trust the opinion of this person who is giving a straight opinion about the food. So they take it as a word of mouth.
Exactly. But you know, ethics must prevail, because a lot of the influencers, for the right amount of money, they'll just put anything on their Instagram account.
Yes.
So, but they have to worry about their reputation, because if they start promoting garbage, they might get away with it once or twice, but eventually people will catch up, and you know, this will ruin their reputation. So it's like a double-edged sword.
Later on, Muhammad, we're going to speak about the customer service concept in our household, which is also very important. But let us stick to corporates now, and then we give examples.
Okay.
So I have a long set of examples for experiences that I had with customer service, and these experiences, some of them I had abroad, which were amazing, and some of them were local, some of them were good, some of them were not very appealing. Okay, so we start with the first experience that I had is that I wanted to buy a car, and I wanted a specific brand. So I went to the showroom for 3 times, and every single time I go there, no one talks to me.
Okay.
No one greets me, and even if I ask them a question, there is no eye contact. Someone just responds while he's sitting in his desk with a very dry answer.
Maybe they were busy with WhatsApp and they wanted to give you space.
Not really. So, mostly it was they were not interested.
Okay.
And immediately I walked out, and none of them even came, like, oh sir, how can we help you? Come back and tell us what you want. Nothing. They left. I would remind you, Muhammad, like 5 or 6 years ago, they used to take our phone numbers because they didn't hit their sales target. They keep on calling you every day. When would you come and take the car? And this is good, and this, and they explain the features. Now they are beyond that target, so they're fat and thick. So they are not interested in one customer like Muhammad. They're interested in a fleet. the companies that are buying cars in
the
fleet,
rent cars.
or rental
lease,
cars.
yeah.
Those are our customers. But Muhammad and Hatim, you're not
It's
of
a
interest.
headache.
If I lose you, there is no problem.
It's just one car.
And I walked away, and I went to another showroom and bought a total different car. Just imagine how many Hatims walk into showrooms and then they decide not to buy the car. How much money is corporation losing
Yeah.
by such experience of customers who are not happy?
See, Hatim, these things can be tackled in two ways. One, there should be proper trainings, and second, there should be surprise checks. So, as like the owner or his family members, they can
Muhammad,
walk
but
in as
it
customers.
is the attitude of the management.
Okay.
The management has to impose this.
Yeah.
It's not something as a choice. I don't train you. I'm telling you, if you're not selling cars and the customers are not happy, you're fired. Basically, that should be the attitude, that the customer comes first,
Right.
before everything.
Right.
But if the management is lenient, you know what? We did a lot of money to this year, and we don't need these tiny customers like Hatim and Muhammad. You know, we're less bothered, and they forget that the main concept of customer service, it doesn't make a difference how much they add value to your industry. But today, if we take the example of Nokia, who's buying Nokia? They would wish to get someone like Hatim and Muhammad buying their phones now. They focused on the bigger picture, the industry, you know, they are selling in bulk. But actually, those small customers, they are the ones who make it.
They all
happen.
add up, you know.
If you lose the big sharks, if you lose the big customers, then you don't have except the small customers. This is the thing.
Exactly.
And my next experience, before I share my next experience, I have a lot of stories to tell today. My next experience is in a health center. Okay, it was the night of the Eid, so tomorrow was Eid, and I had an important flight to catch going to Africa. It was a sudden trip, so they were I was told that I have to take a malaria vaccine. So I was told that this health center in one of the areas, you're going to get it there. So I went to the reception and I asked them, you know what, I'm not sick, but I just want the malaria vaccine. Do you have it here? And they said, yes, we have it here, but you have to register and wait your turn like everybody else. I said, I don't have a problem waiting and registering. So I went, I registered, and I waited for an hour, which was not a problem. The place was packed with people.
Okay.
And then they called up my name, and they said, come and take temperature, weight, height. And I said, sorry, but I'm not sick. I'm just here for the vaccine. They said, no, this is a standard procedure.
Okay.
You have to do it. So I went and they took my weight and height and blood pressure, and then they said, go back to your seat. And I sat for another half an hour, and then I was called again to see the doctor. When I entered to the doctor, and the doctor said, what seems to be the problem? I said, I don't have a problem. I just came for a malaria vaccine. And she looked at me and she said, we're not authorized to give malaria vaccines here.
Oh boy.
But I would say that you're overweight. And I said, okay, thank you very much. And I left. Just imagine, Muhammad, my time was not valuable to them. Yeah, they don't mind me waiting for 3 hours. You could have solved this problem, cut down the queue of people by just answering a simple question. You know, if you don't know the information, there is no harm telling the
Ask
customer,
someone.
you know what, give me 5 minutes, I'll check and come back to you. But they wasted my time, they wasted other people who were waiting after me, you know, going through the procedure, taking my weight and height, and then giving me the bad news that they don't give the vaccine. You know, and I ended up missing my flight.
So there's no communication internally. So again, we need to highlight the importance of processes. Yes, we have to enhance people's skills, but it cannot be done in a chaotic way. So next we'll just look briefly at the customer service versus customer experience.
Yes.
Because this is a new buzzword that we hear in the industry. And customer service is never about the results or the sales. It's about the experience you create when that person is with you.
Yes.
So what that means is that customer service results in some kind of a customer experience. Like you have shared few stories with us. It can be a pleasant one, it can be an unpleasant one. And the other thing is, a lot of corporations, they don't have customer service charters. Like, as an employee, if I ask you, have you seen what are the minimum customer service guidelines in your corporate? Okay, most probably you won't know what it is, because nothing has been shared with you, or it doesn't exist, in which case they should sit together and make one. And the other thing you mentioned is that for example, one might say, okay, you guys are taking it out on the corporates and all that, but this applies to individuals also. If we're not doing proper customer service in our homes, then what are the chances that when we are out there with strangers, we will actually care? And it's, we've visited this hadith number of times, that what we spend on our family, if we just think about it and fix our intention, it becomes sadaqah.
Yes.
Okay, and we are supposed to smile and be nice to our wives, and show mercy to our children and all that stuff. So yes, it is supposed to be embedded in our Islamic DNA. Now the question is, what happens the minute we step out? How do we lose total connection with what we have been taught since we were children?
Subhanallah, subhanallah. I would like to remind our listeners who have just joined us that this is a live show and the lines are open. You can call us and tell us and share your experience when it comes to customer service, and the number to call is 2460 2058, 2460 2058, and today's topic is customer service, whether they are positive experiences of customer service that you would like to share, or even the negative ones. And we're not criticizing for the sake of criticizing. We want our country to improve and become better, and to compete with other countries that are far more better than us when it comes to customer service.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to share over here, why somebody should care about experience. Research tells us that it's more important than products and services.
Yes.
As an example, when we are dying on our deathbed, we're not gonna actually care about, okay, what's the latest model of mobile I've got next to me, or what car I'm driving. The flashbacks we'll have would be like our wedding day that was special, okay, or the birth of a child, or the graduation of a child.
These are the moments that you remember.
Yeah, exactly. The high points in your life, or when you got your first job, or when you retired, or when you went on a cruise with your loved ones. And that's why you'll see that a lot of ways some corporates reward their top customers. They don't just send them a very expensive pen or a diary or a calendar. They tell them, you and the missus are going to stay in this 5-star hotel for the weekend, and it's on us because you are one of our VIP customers. So even the corporates are starting to understand that experiences always trump products and services.
Subhanallah. And for industries that have reception, the reception is the face of the industry.
It's the first touch point. Yeah,
it's the first experience that you have in a corporation. So the companies or industries that have a reception or a receptionist, then this is a very important role. It might be even equal to the role of the CEO, because the people who are walking into the industry, the first impression that they would have is the reception. And there are some of the things that I have noticed personally, Muhammad, that when you enter a workplace or a company, it would be good and it would be a sign of respect if they stand, and they greet you with a smile, and they ask you politely, whom are you here to see, and so on. All of these etiquettes that we know, Muhammad, they're very common. But most of the time you find them sitting
or playing on WhatsApp,
flicking on their phone. They don't even look at you, and they just point that you have to sit. They don't even tell you that you can take a seat. And a lot of experiences which are very, very negative. But I want to continue, Muhammad, and tell you more of the stories that I have. And I would say I want to give you a positive experience. I was traveling abroad, and I was it was not food poison. I have allergy of seafood. So I went to a restaurant with my friends, and they bought me a bowl of rice. and I didn't know that they had octopus eggs in that rice. So I was eating, heavily, and I was very hungry, and suddenly I started choking, and I was taken to a hospital. And you can't imagine, Muhammad, from the moment I stepped into the hospital, the treatment I got, I thought myself I was the Prince of Arabia. To the extent that after 6 hours of treatment, the doctor insisted that I am more than welcome to sit even for a longer period, and so that he can observe me. And then finally, before leaving, he said to me, this is my email address. Please, when you go back home and you do more checkups, please let me know what was the results of this.
Amazing.
I'm from a total different country. He doesn't know me, and the surprise is that was a public hospital.
Wow.
It was not even a private hospital.
Okay.
Why would a doctor care to know my results while I'm just going to leave? I'm not going to come back to that country. He has nothing to do with me.
He's committed to his job and his profession.
And I was really, really impressed by the customer service. And I would say we have places here in Oman that has certain level of customer service, and even better, but we need to propagate them more.
Exactly. And one of the things that somebody told me was that whenever companies are looking for good front-end people, not back office, people who are really friendly and they know how to handle all sorts of customers, they generally go and try to steal them from hotels and banks.
So,
because these are the two places where they interact the most with outside customers. So there is a deal. It kind of measures what kind of emotional intelligence you have, how warm you are, how you can diffuse a situation, how you coexist with the customer without confrontation. And one very important thing, we often get confused that somebody came to me with a problem, and whatever it takes, I have to solve it in the next 5 minutes, and that's it. But the success recipe is that you have to make him feel good, even if it takes time for you to solve his problem. You have to send them out happier and calm down than the time he or she walked into the outlet, when they were all upset, they were all hyper. So this is a skill that few people have. And one of the things is call centers, the stress level is so high in the employees, and the highest turnover rate, the highest churn is in call centers. They work different hours, different shifts, same monotonous work. Most of the times they don't even have face-to-face contact. You're hiding behind a phone, or you are behind a phone. So it's a very stressful job. And one of the problems is that a lot of the employees there are very fresh. They're fresh graduates, and these millennials, they just got off of devices. So to begin with, they're not that very warm, they're not very much used to, because look, our society is going through a change. It's not their fault. Everything, because we are very relaxed with technology, in a lot of aspects it's ruling us, it's dictating the rules of engagement. So they come in, they're already very cold, and then you put them in an assignment where from day one they have to interact with strangers. Those strangers, that 80 to 90% of them are very angry. Some of them are, borderline abusive. And you have very little training as to how to deal with them. Yes, you have a script that you can follow. You can answer them questions. Reboot this thing. Have you tried this? Have you not tried that? Things of that nature. But the soft skills, this is something which is really lacking across the board, and we see it daily.
And you valuing that customer. One of the things, Muhammad, that annoys me when I call center, you miss that old-fashioned traditional greeting,
because they're reading a script.
So someone is picking up the phone and he says yes. What on earth does yes mean? People are supposed to say good morning, this is Hatim's Bakery, my name is Hatim Al Abdissaalam, how can I help you? And they take you through. Sometimes they even mention their name like a bullet, you don't even hear. They say, "Hi, my name is Ayub. How can I help you?"
They do that. Yeah.
So you don't hear what they say. They are not very clear. They don't have the command of the language. They are not sympathetic for you because you are calling there. You have a problem.
Exactly.
You're not calling there because you want to entertain them.
Yeah, see, sometimes you can blame them because they have their KPIs. They have to do X number of calls in a day. So unfortunately, quality is compromised in the interest of quantity, because at the end of the day they have to see in their Excel sheet how well they did today compared to their colleagues. So while they're trying to solve your issue, they're actually trying to think about the next customer. And now the interesting thing is they're throwing us to the bots. So a lot of the times who you're chatting with online, you might think there is actually a body at the other end. You're actually talking to a computer.
I would give you another experience, Muhammad. My father went to one of these offices that you go and type your applications. So he came back from that office very sad, and he looked very angry. And I said, "Dad, what's wrong? What happened?" He said, "Son, subhanallah, I had an experience today which I haven't had for the past like 60 years." And I said, "What happened?" He said, "I went into this office to type my applications. They took the papers. Of course, nobody greets you. Yeah, you just leave the papers and you sit. And then when my turn came, there was more than one person in waiting there. So the woman that was typing the papers was at the age of my granddaughter.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like 3 times older than her.
Mm-hmm.
So she called up my name, Harith, come and pick up your papers.
Oh.
He said, my dad was so insulted. He said, in my entire life, nobody disrespected me this way. At least you could say, "Oh father," or "uncle," or "Ustad," "Sheikh," whatever. Don't call someone by his name, especially when he is elderly. It is disrespect. My father is almost 70.
MashaAllah.
And this girl is like 18, 19. You can't call someone by his name just like that. And it's not even part of our tradition. It's not part of our culture.
Well, this shows we are losing our culture. We're
losing it, definitely. We're losing it. Let us take a break, Muhammad, from this hot session and come back and continue with it.
Inshallah.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. What about the time he stepped from his house and there was trash at the door? Calmly he gathered the trash that was scattered, but every day there was more. One day was missing, so he went to visit the neighbor he thought was ill. The neighbor amazed at the kindness displayed, despite all the trash he would spill. But what about the time he came to a town and hope spread his word? The leader sent the children to chase and to stone him till he's bleeding and hurt. But he was given the choice, his town being destroyed. But our prophet refused. He said, I hope for the children one day will be given this guidance, the life they will choose. He was a mercy to all of mankind. He was a mercy to all of mankind. He was Rahmatan lil Alameen. He was Rahmatan.
Ya Sheikh.
Did you read about the time he saw a bird in distress? The young ones were taken away. He ordered the man to return all of them and taught not to treat them this way. And what about the time he was getting salam by this lady one time? As he started to eat, was warm at the meat. The lady put poison inside. When they brought her to him, he asked her the truth. She admitted to what she had done, but despite her behavior, the prophet forgave her. His kindness would shine like the sun.
الشيخ اعطيني اشاره لما نبدا. اخر سنه ترى دقيقتين ونص فيه. تبغى يخلص كله في الليله ولا الحين؟
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome back to your show Come Close with me, Hatim Al Abdissaalam, and engineer Muhammad Farooq. And today we're aggressively talking about customer service. The lines are open for you to call. The number is 2460 2058. 2460 2058. The show is going to be repeated in the evening from 9 till 10 and tomorrow from 5 till 6 dawn time, inshallah.
Yeah, we're talking emotionally about it.
Emotionally about it, because it touches the lives of everyone, Muhammad,
exactly,
basically.
exactly.
No one wants to go to a service center and have a terrible experience.
Exactly.
It just frustrates you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we'll look at how customer service culture
Yes.
can be implemented across the board
Okay.
in all organizations, in all departments. So customer service is not something the people in the outlet should worry about, or the KPIs of the people in the call center depend on it. This should be everybody's top priority, because the business units which serve internally the employees,
Yes.
those employees are actually their customers.
Okay.
And then you've got business units which are serving externally to the masses, whether it's airline industry, tourism, healthcare, telecom, whatever you have. So there should be a sense of proactivity and good manners involved. Okay, if somebody walks in the outlet, as an example, then me sitting there, I should be proactive in how may I help you. Okay, generally we say, may I help you? Well, if the person is there, definitely he or she needs help.
Yes.
Right? And same should be over the phone. If I call and you answer the phone, this is, like you said, Hatim's Bakery, how may I help you?
Yes. And your tone plays a big role, Muhammad.
Yeah.
People can feel whether you're interested to serve them or not.
Yeah, be cheerful.
Or you're just frustrated and you hate the day that you got employed.
Exactly. And I'll say this again, there are some people who should not be in customer facing roles. They should be in the back office.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We'll come back to them, inshallah, after this call. Raveen. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum.
Hello.
Hello.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
I'm good, sir.
Yes. What can you tell us today?
I was listening your show, sir, regarding customer service.
Yes.
I would like to tell you one thing, sir, regarding this public electricity and water.
Yes.
Water services, now there is in office, they see for water, they're wrongly taking our reading.
Yes.
Mistakenly they are taking their mistake. When I go to their office, they're not ready to take our complaint. They just say, we will verify. Problem is, for my residency, it is coming only 12 real, 13 real.
Yes.
But they charge me something 3,600. I was just going to tell them, rectify. But they will keep telling you, we will verify it. From 3-4 months, they keep on this one dragging my complaint.
Very, very clear, very clear.
Sir?
Thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah, but you can go their office now, sir. They will not respond. Many local people also, they are come, they fight there.
This is what we're talking about today.
Solving this issue. This is big problem is going on there.
Yes, this is what we're talking about today.
OFC was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes,
Yeah,
we can hear you. We can hear
Yes,
you.
sir. OFC it was perfect, sir. But after they transfer the service to directly, they are handling public electricity and water. But now I don't know.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, basically, we're not pinpointing at a certain industry. We're talking in general that this problem is across the board. It is not in one industry and not in the other. And many customers face, like the example the brother has given, is that it was not the customer's fault, but despite that he is being penalized for something that he did not do wrong. And this is very common. You would find it in not only that, in the telecom industry, in many places.
Exactly. Especially the customer facing units, they need to up their game, and they need to be supported internally by the management. Because see, Hatim, in such scenarios what we see is, if we collectively don't regulate ourselves, then probably government will issue something.
Yes.
Then everybody will make faces and complain, oh, this is very hard, and it's mandatory, and how can I do this?
The problem, Muhammad, with the monopoly service industries, which they know that you don't have any other alternative.
Yeah, no choice.
Okay, like water and electricity, they know that you don't have any other alternative. You have to have water and electricity in your house. So they assume that, they take it for granted that we don't need customer service, because people will have to come and will have to pay their bills. But this is not right, because at the end of the day, morally, it is not right. Morally, you need to treat people in a just way.
Exactly. Hatim, if we can connect a higher cause to customer service, a spiritual one,
yes,
like if we attach it to that, I'm sure things will get much better. Like when we talk about selfless service, okay, this is something that we need to do so the others would remember this experience. I'm sure, like you shared the good experience about that doctor, you'll remember this forever. You'll share it with others multiple times. And there's a hadith of Prophet ﷺ where it says, it is better for one of you to fulfill the need of his brother than residing for itikaf in my masjid for 2 months.
Subhanallah.
So this is how important it is for us to take care of each other's pains.
You know what is the problem, Muhammad? We disassociate it with religion. We think that customer service is about making money.
Yeah.
It's not part of religion.
Right.
But we forget that every single thing we do on this in this life, we are accountable for.
Exactly.
And on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive us for transgressing on other people's rights.
Exactly.
And the ironic part about the customer service, Muhammad, you would find someone in the customer service industry treating people like trash, and at the same time, when he goes and he is the customer, he complains about the service in that place. So if you do your part, it's a cycle. If every one of us do their part and treat people equally and justly and in a very respectable way as they deserve, then we're going to have a very healthy environment and market.
And I don't want the listeners to get this all wrong. There has been major development. Like, just imagine, like few years back, there were very few call centers or none at all. Customer service concept was not highlighted that much. You didn't have departments focusing on this issue. And in general, when call centers started, now they call them like contact centers, because you have injected digital channels and a lot of technology into it. But when the call centers started, they were looked upon as expense units. Okay, it took a while for the management to change their attitude that no, they're actually saving us money, they're making us money.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a major shift in mindset. So we can expect that there will be more improvements.
Do you come across these call centers when you call and they say press 1 for Arabic, press 2 for English,
how can
press 3 for if you're a continuous customer, press 4, and it goes until press 20. By the time you finish pressing, you're dead.
Yeah, it's like I go to the grocery store, I buy the stuff, I pay for it, and then they say, okay, pick up the shoppers and put your own groceries in it and push your own cart, and pay us. Yeah. So I agree. And one more, speaking of grocery stores, when you have so many people and you have 10 counters and only 2 are working.
Subhanallah. And that happens all the time.
Exactly.
And you find people.
And I have complained politely to them that please, for the love of God, open the other counters. What are you waiting for?
The ironic part, Muhammad, that you'd find people sitting on the counter, and they say the counter is closed.
Yeah. When you go over there, they tell you the counter is closed.
Yeah. Why are you sitting there if the counter is closed?
Yeah.
While the managers, the floor managers who are witnessing this, they want people to come back to their shop.
Exactly.
So they need to be proactive and think.
Okay, so first one was selfless service. Second one is greet people with any kind of greeting. In this case, we'll say salam, and there's a hadith where it says, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, I swear by the one in whose hand my soul is, that you will not enter paradise until you believe, and you won't be believers until you love one another. Can I tell you something that if you practice, you will love each other, and that is spread the greetings of salam with each other.
Subhanallah.
And we've touched upon this issue in number of episodes.
Man, a lot of places today you go, they don't even treat you. They don't even greet you.
They ignore you.
They ignore you completely. People pass in front of you and they don't greet, which is so weird, man. Which is so weird.
I know.
And it has become a culture. You know, we
it's replacing a better
past
culture.
5 years, Muhammad, we were not like this. You would be greeted with a smile by everybody, and I think this change is not very positive.
No, it's not. It's not. It has a
We're
lot
talking
to do
about
with
modernity and development and so on.
Exactly.
And we are inviting tourism into our country, but the way we behave, I don't think we can make it in this industry, because the tourism industry is about service.
Yeah.
If you don't have customer service, nobody wants to come to your country.
Right. I mean, look at it. I mean, the service aspect is becoming so dominant that, you know, when we go to restaurants, we're eating food, but they call it service industry.
Yes.
So they don't call it a product industry anymore. So, anyways, next one is service with a smile. After greeting, smile is the next thing that follows. And again, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said, smile in the face of your brother is charity.
But if they have bad gums, don't smile.
I told you, some people, they should be in the back office. They should not be in the customer facing positions. And again, we covered this before, that instead of saying may I help you, just say how may I help you.
Yes.
Now people don't say anything. Okay. And same goes at home. When you go home, greet your family. Yes, you've had a rough day at office, but try not to bring that baggage. Greet them nicely, and spend time with the kids and all that, and be in control of your emotions instead of the other way around. The emotions are taking control of you. And show commitment in terms of customer service when you're smiling. Tell me, you have something on your mind.
Well, no, I remember the story that happened in Mecca, where we take people for pilgrimage for Hajj every year. And the season of Hajj is so busy that sometimes you end up booking a hotel for the whole congregation, which you have to. There is no other option. So we booked the so-called 5-star hotel for our pilgrimage. We were almost 200 people, and subhanallah, from the first day we started having food poisoning. The buffet was like for day before yesterday, not for this morning. It was like almost rotten, and we started inspecting the food, and we found out that the food is actually rotten. Like the cheese was not yellow anymore, it was black. So the owner of the hotel was passing by, so we called him. We said, "Sir, you're the owner of the hotel. You are serving us, food that is rotten, and this is not acceptable. Ethically, it's not acceptable." And he said, "Where is this food that is rotten?" And we went and showed him the black cheese, and he said, "This is not rotten." And he took it and swallowed it. He said, "You see, there's nothing. I didn't die." And we left. And that was the most unique customer service experience I've ever had in my life, and I'm ever going to have in my life.
It's gonna be tough to beat that story.
I
thought he must have told you, just say Bismillah.
I wish if he said Bismillah. He didn't even say Bismillah. He just swallowed the cheese and he walked away. He said, "I'm not dead."
He didn't say, "Hatim, you're not here for food. You're here for another reason."
Oh man, come on.
Stop complaining. Okay. All right. So we're looking at some of the factors which can improve the whole experience. One is commitment, and they say every great business is built on friendship. Then there is the correctness. The purpose of a business is to create a customer who creates a customer for you. So you want the customers to be your ambassadors.
Yes.
Not go out there and badmouth you and try to kill your business. The other thing is consistency. Now this is a tough one, because not only the customers want the best, but they want the best all the time, and then they want the best across the channels. So whether you have a digital channel like online chat, or an email, or calling a call center, or coming and meeting you face to face, they just want the experience to be seamless. Okay.
I read one of the experiences of a showroom, Muhammad, in the West. This guy went to buy this luxury car, and normally in that showroom they serve tea and coffee for their customers. So this customer came, he wants to buy this expensive car, and he said, they asked him, "What would you like to drink, sir?" And he said, "I want a Coke." And they left. and the salesman left the showroom and he went to the next store and he bought a Coke and brought it back. So the customer said, "I saw you walking out of the showroom. Where did you go?" He said, "I went to buy the Coke for you." He said, "I thought you have it here." He said, "No, we don't provide Coke in our showroom, but because you're our customer, we would do anything to make your experience
amazing.
An extra step."
Amazing.
So
these sound like stories, man. It doesn't sound real.
I hope we get a glass of water, Muhammad, next time we visit the show.
Yeah, and that's perfect, the story you said, because that was my next point.
And I just wanted to make it clear, Muhammad, we're not saying this because that we want to undermine our industry, and we're saying that what they have there in other countries is far more better than us. No, they also have terrible experiences when it comes to customer service, but we want to develop ourselves and to become
take the best. We can take the best from anywhere that we find it. So it's always give people more than what they expect to get. And then the next one is compassionate. Now this is something which is dream of all the corporations, and it's a wish of all the customers.
Yes.
That when I call with a problem, I want somebody to sympathize with me.
Yes.
And
sometimes you don't even have to give them the solution, but just listening to them attentively, appreciating their concern and so on, it makes a huge difference.
Exactly. Like I called a particular health center, I will not mention their name, and then I asked them, I want to see a particular doctor. Okay. And they said, he's not here. So I said, okay, can you please tell me when he'll be here? And they say, we don't know. And I really got angry. And I said, can you please go and find out for me, please? And then they gave the phone to someone else. And that person told me, yeah, it'll be available on this and this day. Now, I would say it's not that much fault of that boy or girl sitting answering the phone. Maybe they're just there because they can't get another job. But it's the fault of the manager, of the management. Why are they letting such characters pick up the phone and deal with someone? This could have been a
quality
life
control.
No, this could have been a life emergency.
Yes.
And you put such cold bodies over there, and this gives me like a reflection of your whole organization, which is not going to be the case, but I'll feel, probably the whole healthcare center is like this. They just don't care.
Okay, let me give you an experience of a non-profit organization, which is one of my relatives has a food truck. So he went to one of the governmental bodies, and they told him, you know what, this food truck is not the correct size. So he went and he did the correct size. He came back to get the approval. They told him, this is not the right color. He went and he changed the color. They told him, you don't have a chimney in this food truck. He went and he added a chimney. And then he said, you don't have a fan. And then he went and he came back and he said, you don't have like a socket for electricity inside. And he went like 10 times. Finally, he got really, really pissed. And he said, you know what? Keep the truck. I don't want to do business. Why don't you tell me all at once?
Give me a checklist.
Give me a checklist. Tell me, listen, for you to start this business, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or sometimes they say, go to that office. And then you go to that office and they say, no, go to the other office. And go to this office. And get the stamp here. And get this paper. And get that. Why don't you tell me once? Do you think my time is not valuable? Do you think I have fuel to come every single day and ask about this?
Maybe that's
do you look at me and you see me a beggar? It is my right to get that service. The government has appointed people to serve the society.
Exactly.
Not to make their life miserable.
Exactly.
So we need to be very responsible in our duties. Before we complain that we want our promotions, we want our rights,
more
you fulfill
salary,
other people's rights before you ask for your own right.
Exactly. And maybe that's one of the reasons people don't say salam to each other, because they're getting upset.
Yeah, man.
No, I mean, this is very sad, but they teach us in the industry that there is something called servant leadership, that if you want to rule a nation, you serve them.
Yes.
But unfortunately it is missing. But one thing I really like about this nation is they have a lot of sabr. I've noticed this. I've really noticed this.
But Muhammad, anyone having patience, one day he's going to explode.
Exactly.
Because the way they push your buttons, and you reach a limit where you can't take it anymore.
Exactly. So other things are like, the customer is always right, the customer pays your salary, in terms of credibility. Customers don't expect you to be perfect. They do expect you to fix things when they go wrong. They want certain level of confidence from you. So the customer experience is the next battleground over there. It should be coordinated. Good customer service costs less than bad customer service. If there are no processes and you have very nice people, you're still going to have chaos in your organization.
Definitely.
So technology, processes, and people, these three are the basic things you need to make the thing work. Okay,
Muhammad, sometimes you come across huge industries like Google or like iPhone and so on, and you find a customer complaining and unsatisfied, and he doesn't want the phone, and then you find the CEO calls, he calls him overseas and apologizes for one single phone. Just imagine how valuable the time of the CEO of iPhone or Google, and he takes that time to call you for one customer, for one phone that cost maybe 300-400 riyals. Because one customer makes a huge difference.
Exactly.
And that one customer is going to give the word of mouth, telling others about the positive experience that they have.
And it becomes a domino effect.
Sometimes the products that you have, they're not like they're the perfect product. Some people have better products than yours. But the experience that I get, the human interaction that I get from you is the one that makes me come back.
Exactly. And unfortunately, this is something which is missing across the board. If a customer is upset, maybe I'll give you an example, like you can spend, let's say, 10 riyals to satisfy him by correcting the mistake. Okay, but in your pride or arrogance, you'll say, okay, go. And then you'll spend 100 riyals to win another customer.
Subhanallah.
With different marketing activities and
And this also happens in companies, Muhammad, when you have loyal, very good staff and they resign or they decide to leave, and you say, khalas, khali wali, just leave.
Yeah.
You have invested so much in that employee, training them, making them the best, and then very easily you give it to someone else.
There is no exit
you
interview.
Don't negotiate.
You don't even ask them why.
You don't ask them why they leave. You just go, man. And that's terrible, man.
I think, Hatim, one of the things you can connect this whole thing is that, like you mentioned, there's a lack of competition in the market. So they'll say, okay, where you will go. Like, for example, if you take your kids out of this school, you put them in another school, what's the guarantee the other school is better than us?
Yeah,
so eventually, after 2-3 schools, you'll again come back to us.
I think we have a lot of stories to share and a lot of things, but we're running out of time, so please give us the final message.
Final word is that winning the share of heart and share of mind of the customers is more important than winning the share of their wallets. Customer service is not a department, it's an attitude. It should not be in our professional life, but also in our personal life. So products, ideas, technologies, and everything else can be copied, but the unique selling proposition, USP, is the service. So we all have to ask ourselves, what is our USP? Why the customer should come to us and not to our competitor?
My final message to all of you who are working in the customer service industry: if you treat a customer bad, remember that one day you will be a customer as well. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما